I owe my being to the hills and the valleys, the mountains and the glades, the rivers, the deserts, the trees, the flowers, the seas, and the ever-changing seasons that define the face of our native country, which never fails to lay a firm foundation for the effective implementation of our projects.
Like a baobab tree, Enactus University continues to grow stronger, forming rings of success annually. Since 2009, the Zululand region continues to be awoken by the beating drum of entrepreneurship through Enactus University. We put our hearts, our minds, even our souls to the smallest act. This is the secret behind our success. Greetings, I am Sanele Dlamini,
Phumlani Sithole,
Ziyanda Kono,
Thembelani Zulu,
and I am Tabile Mdluli.
and together we are
Enactus University.
Year after year, we have replicated our success stories with the primary aim of providing ample opportunities.
Since the expansion of Enactus University to the Richards Bay campus, we have increased our membership to 287. That is a drastic increase in membership. This has also resulted in our team running 9 active projects. From our 9 active projects, representing 2 of our projects.
Isiqalo Sempumelelo project.
and the Maritime Project.
Our project implementation models divide into 5 phases.
Phase 1, study.
Phase 2, sit.
Phase 3, share. Phase 4, support.
And Phase 5, sustain.
South Africa has an informal sector which contributes positively to the creation of employment opportunities. Currently, South Africa's unemployment rate continues to increase, and a large population is dependent on social grants and living on less than 10 rands per person per day.
What do you say to a rural woman who's never sat on a desk in front of a teacher?
A woman deprived of economic opportunities.
Or a woman who carries the nation on her shoulders but is unable to care for herself.
This is a story of 5 women determined to change their lives against all odds. Now, these women are not only household leaders, but also a clear example of women doing it for themselves. Our team found it fitting to establish Isiqalo Sempumelelo project, which means the beginning of success. This project is situated at Richards Bay Taxi Rank and aims at empowering and creating an economic identity for women in the informal business sector, specializing in indigenous food.
Enactus University went to Richards Bay Taxi Rank and met 5 dedicated women who were determined to provide indigenous food, such as steamed bread, oxcal, and dumplings. We then conducted a needs analysis with the aim of tackling the socio-economic challenges. Though the following challenges were discovered: lack of financial and business management skills, the participants were unable to record their transaction, allocate a budget, and reinvest into their business due to lack of financial control systems being implemented. Furthermore, the environment was not conducive due to littering.
Our team developed and implemented a strategic plan. In accordance with this plan, Enactus University conducted a production capacity building workshop in partnership with Jwailani Butchery, hospitality management experts, and our very own university campus clinic. The main aim of this workshop was to equip our participants with proper preparation of food, best hygiene, cleaning practices for their business, and market identification, which will enable them to segment their markets and define their niche.
But this wasn't the end of our intervention. Driven by the passion to make a difference, Enactus University of Zululand facilitated a second cooperative business workshop. This workshop had the following deliverables. Our participants were trained on cooperative business operations, which included basic business management, strategic marketing, cooperative registration, and their formalities. After all our training, our participants received certification. Indeed, skills were transferred.
Through our tireless intervention, we have assisted and coordinated the registration of the business into a legal cooperative business that is a multi-purpose cooperative. Our participants can now keep the monthly financial books.
Through the network sessions which are facilitated by our team, we have secured partnership with Jwailani Butchery, which is now financing the mobile kitchen for the business. Potentially, this will create an addition of 3 employment opportunities, which will result in a total of 8 employees within 2016. The city of Umhlatuze Thokoza municipality also gave permits to these 5 women. Indeed, dreams do come true for even such rural women.
Our participants have increased their customer base by 67% through a marketing campaign, which was conducted by our team. This was achieved through creating a Facebook page, flyers, posters, and word of mouth. This has significantly increased their sales and also allowed customer interaction with the aim of improving the product.
In just 6 months, Enactus University continues to inspire hope while connecting communities to a better future.
From humble beginnings, each participant was making an average of 3,360 rand per month. That is a combined monthly revenue of 16,800 rand. Through our intervention, their monthly revenue impressively increased to 28,800 rand. That is a 42% increase in revenue.
Through this project, we have formalized employment for 5 women. The confidence levels of our participants have increased from the findings of our customer survey and feedback mechanisms. These breadwinners and household leaders are indeed doing it for themselves. Truly, our participants' standard of living and quality of life has been improved, as women with no formal education can afford to take their children to school.
In our environmental sustainability plan, we have introduced a triple R method to our participants, whereby they reduce littering, reuse bottles, and have managed to recycle 1 ton of collective cans.
The quality of life of our participants has definitely improved as they can now look after their children. On average, each of our participants looks after 9 children. Wathinta bafazi,
Wathinta imbokodo.
You strike a woman, you strike a rock.
Sebefika sisayende kwi-workshop yokuqala ayilapho-ke la ngabona khona kuyiwa phambili ayokwana namhlanje nje khona-ke hayi ku-excelile-ke ngoba namhlanje sesizizwa sikho impela esemthethweni erejistile. So-ke sithokoze kakhulu ngo-Enactus, sisizile kakhulu abantwana basizile. Sibongile kakhulu, siyabonga.
Let us take you through an aquaculture journey of our second project, the Maritime Project.
The National Marine Aquaculture sector is developing and contributes towards creating employment. In 2011, the sector employed close to 1,600 full-time employees on farms. During last year's World Fisheries Day, our team held an awareness campaign on illegal fishing. This is where we met Mr. Ngema, a dedicated family man who worked as an aqua farmer for over 20 years until he was retrenched. But Mr. Ngema did not sit back and wait for handouts. He saw an opportunity, he took a risk and established Sofoto Fish Farm, which focuses on breeding and harvesting tropical and edible freshwater fish for commercial purposes.
Enactus University conducted a needs assessment where we identified that the absence of pond nets has a direct impact in the decrease in the fish production.
On the second phase of our needs assessment, we discovered that Mr. Ngema did not develop a proper organizational structure, that he had poor financial management systems and lacked proper business documentation. This consequently led to him losing more than 70,000 rand in finances.
Challenged by these findings, Enactus University strategically developed and implemented a 3-year intervention plan.
And according to this plan, which was created in 2015, our team organized a business management skills workshop.
We then developed a business plan, compiled a business profile, and implemented the marketing strategy that led to an 82% increase in the customer base of Sofoto Fish Farm.
In addition, we assisted Sofoto Fish Farm to receive an amount of 500,000 rand through the Department of Trade and Industry.
Through our intervention, Sofoto Fish Farm continues to grow. This has enabled Mr. Ngema to purchase a bakkie worth 130,000 rand. This has led to the decrease in cost while increasing his monthly revenue.
Through our partnership with the Tungolo district, Sofoto Fish Farm received marketing exposure at the business trade fair. The business also entered a competition and won 125,000 rand.
Through the small successes of Mr. Ngema's business, he decided to mentor 15 community members into the aquaculture industry while inspiring 53 learners through our Investing in Young Entrepreneurial Minds initiative.
In 2015, Sofoto Fish Farm had an initial monthly income of less than 10,000 rand and has increased to an impressive 53,310 rand per month. In 2016, due to supplying to other farms and various companies, the farm now has a monthly turnover of 133,000 rand, which has enabled him to invest more than 300,000 rand in stock during the first quarter, which will sustain him for 12 months.
Furthermore, in 2015, the farm created 7 job opportunities. Currently, in the first and second quarter, employed 11 employees, and in the third and fourth quarter, the plan to recruit 13 young people before the end of the year. This will total employment employment to 24 full-time employees, and this is a 71% increase in job opportunity from last year.
With such great financial success, Suffolk Fish Farms was encouraged to consider its environmental footprints by installing new pipes, which led to the saving of 125 liters of water per month. We also discovered new conservative fish feeding methods, which uses fruits and vegetables to improve fish health. These new fish feeding methods are both cost-effective and non-toxic to the fish. In addition, Suffolk Fish Farm contributes to the preservation of endangered fish, which positively impacts the ecosystem.
But this wasn't the end of our intervention. Through our business advisory board, Suffolk Fish Farm received 20,000 rands of sponsorship from Industrial Development Zone. This sponsorship includes a Georgia water tank, water pipes, water pressure pump, and tunnel netting. Further to that, the University of Zululand also sponsored Suffolk Fish Farm with a computer for proper documentation and cement for infrastructural developments.
Kubonga kudunyiswa, amen. Nkosikazi, zonke lezi zinto ngithole ngenxa ka Enactus University. Ngiyabonga ingane zami.
With these success stories, the Department of Agriculture and Rural Development has appointed Mr. Ngema to train all prospective fish farmers and will be earning an amount of 288,000 rand per annum.
In these exciting times, times of technology, Enactus University remains relevant. As a result, our team developed a mobile application which vested intellectual property rights to the team. This app contains geo-targeting features which will allow Mr. Ngema to easily identify customers with location-specific and time-sensitive messages. Integrating this technology into a mobile application, Suffolk Fish Farm can now decrease their expenses, narrow their focus, and deliver their targeted advertisement to consumers while increasing customer confidence and revenue.
Through proper documentation and networking, Mr. Ngema has received a 6 million rand grant from the Department of Agriculture and Rural Development during the course of this year. The grant is divided into two. The first 3 million will be used towards infrastructure development, which will impact the livelihood assets of the business, and the remaining 3 million will be used to access new markets as well as expansion.
The farm now also supplies varieties of stockfish, which include koi and goldfish, with the further prospects of adding prawns in the last quarter of 2016 to effectively utilize the profitable market. This has then led to 220 fish ponds being used. And that diversifying strategy, the farm now grows aquarium plants being sold at 500 rand per bucket. Through that strategy, it has added an additional of 5,000 rand in the monthly income.
Suffolk Fish Farm is growing strength by strength. This is not only evident in the farm's increase in workforce, but also in the business management practices and customer confidence. The team's dedication and commitment has managed to empower Mr. Ngema into transforming aquaculture knowledge into operating a successful and a sustainable enterprise.
Mr. Ngema has sponsored the tertiary education of 10 young people in the community to help further their dreams. Ubam Ngema, indoda emadodeni, a man amongst men, and a pillar for the community.
Ngakuphakamisa lokho sokukhulunywa ngasho ngathi njengoba le ngane igqoke kanje namhlanje ngoba le project yakhe ngoba kuba yikho futhi ngaba igqokile phela.
Enactus University, I am so impressed with you guys. I am so excited to find young, committed entrepreneurs.
In 2009, a new seed of transformation was planted in the Zululand region as we saw the birth of Enactus University.
In 2010, we provided global solutions to local socio-economic challenges. Enactus University.
In 2011, we encouraged our participants to use what they had in order to succeed. Enactus University.
In 2012, we lit the flame of entrepreneurship, and it continues to burn. Enactus University.
In 2013, we built a bridge towards entrepreneurship, connecting the poor to a better future. Enactus University.
And this year, marking over 7 years of our existence, we have deepened entrepreneurial roots while connecting communities to a better and a brighter future through the positive power of business.
With the aim of improving the standard of living and quality of life, our Ours is a story of transformation of entrepreneurial power. We share with the prospect of a brighter and self-fulfilling future of this country as we continuously engage in making this ideal a reality as faithful and social responsible stakeholders. The support of our endeavors ranges from the threshold of our prestigious university to various government structures. Indeed, we have made a considerable effort to fulfill our mandate as a team.
2016 has been the year of improving the quality of life and the standard of living of our participants. Now, let us break it down to numbers.
217 is our direct impact, with having 2,170 as our indirect impact.
And 9 is the number of active projects implemented in the year 2016. And our region continues to be awoken by the beating drum of entrepreneurship.
287 is the number of active members, which constitutes 30% of first-year students, making our team sustainable.
34 is the number of employment opportunities created this year. Enactus University of Zululand is economically aware.
Over 1,450 cans collected and 125 liters of water saved in our reduce, reuse, and recycle strategy. Enactus University is environmentally aware.
6,217,000 is the injected financial support to our participants from 9 strategic partnerships. Indeed, we are economically aware.
7 is the number of workshop trainings that led to high-level skills being transferred and enabled confidence in our participants. Our team is socially aware.
10 community members have been granted access to tertiary education through the Maritime Project, while 17 have been given access to basic education through Isiqalo Sempumelelo Project.
11,337,000 is our team's media impression. Now, these are not just numbers to impress, but a demonstration of what a dedicated team can achieve just a single year.
Our existence is not for human eyes, but for our
Who
participants.
see us as the Bible's greatest.
The Nehemiahs of today.
Who rebuilt fallen walls.
We learn, we inspire, we have fun, but most importantly,
We connect!
Presentation.
Sabile.
Thank you. That concludes the presentation. We'll now go straight into the judges' question and answer session. Quiet, please, for the judges to be able to ask their questions. Judges, are there any questions for University of Zululand? Sorry, there's one there. Thank you. Second row.
Thank you, Zululand. Your identification of market, you mentioned commerce generally, and I'm just wondering where, especially with regards to the fish project, where you aim to be selling the fish, and in particular the prawns. You know, it's a specialty of sorts, and you are in the Richards Bay area. You are in areas where ordinarily, especially the rural areas immediately, would not necessarily eat prawns. So just expand on that for me, please.
Thank you for your question, sir. Well, to clarify about that, we have a diversified market for these pieces of fish that Mr. Ngema is selling. He sells the type of fish that are endangered in our country. So he has an abundant supply of a market. For example, he can end up supplying fish to aquarium shops which display the fish because he imports the fish, some of them from Israel, some from Germany. So these fish are not found in our country. People are not used to them. So by exposing such fish from other countries, species which are not indigenous in our country, he has a great advantage, a competitive advantage in the market because he's the only one who supplies those fish in our region. Thank you.
Any other questions from the judges? Yeah, there's a question at the back here, please.
Shops and aquariums, they're not Sorry, did you hear that?
Can you please repeat your question?
The fish that are being farmed, am I to understand from your answer to the last question that they're mostly for aquariums and fish tanks, etc.? They're not to eat?
Thank you very much for your question, ma'am. Making reference to our presentation, we presented that Mr. Ngema sells the type of fish that is edible and tropical. So he has a vast or immense stock. So he supplies edible and exotic fish. Now, the koi and the goldfish is the example of our exotic fish, that is the non-edible fish. Now, the nutritional benefit to our edible fish can be omega-3 fatty acids, protein, and iodine. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions from the judges?
Perhaps to add on what my colleagues have said, Mr. Ngema says both type of fish is tropical and edible, but business-wise, he discovered that the tropical fish, which are koi fish and goldfish, are the ones that have the most demand in the market. So he concentrated more on what's injected financial income in his business because the edible fish for human consumption was not bringing enough cash flow into the business. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further questions from the judges? No? Good. Well, thank you very much, and that concludes the presentation. Thank you, University of Zululand.